Cheryl is uniquely Cheryl. She's the spiritual leader of Unity Kitchener and a leader in life.
Is the recording on?
Is Deja going to record? Deja, are you able to record? Are you going to let's see if we can.
No, start again.
All right, I'm going. Wonderful, thank you so much. So, once again, Cheryl is joining us today to give us an inspiring talk. Cheryl is the spiritual leader of Unity Kitchener and the spiritual leader in life. She continues to reach and go outside the box and continue her learning in a vast way. She's a teacher, a friend, and now I'm going to ask her if she would come up and give us a powerful message. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. And I'm a student.
Absolutely.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Speaker, put it on speaker view. Speaker view.
Instead of gallery.
Oh, okay. Good. I didn't set you up, sorry. No worries. Try the mouse.
Okay. Can you all see me?
Deja's on speaker view.
I know. Okay, can everyone see me? Yep, Mary said yep. Thank you, Mary. I think that's what you said anyway. So let me start by asking you a question. Not one that you need to answer, but one that you can just contemplate for a few moments. Have you ever walked into a room and quietly wondered, do I belong here? Maybe it was your first day at school, a new job. Perhaps it was the first time you walked into a spiritual community. Or maybe it wasn't a room at all. Maybe it was a new season of life, retirement, the end of a relationship, moving to a new country. Sometimes life changes so gradually that one morning we wake up and realize we're asking ourselves a question we never expected to. Where do I fit in? I imagine every one of us has asked that question at some point, not necessarily because someone made us feel unwelcome. Sometimes no one says anything at all. Sometimes it's simply that quiet voice inside talking. Will they like me? Will they understand me? Will I fit in? I've been thinking a lot about belonging lately. Not because I figured it out, quite possibly the opposite. The older I become, the more I realize that so much of our lives is quietly shaped by two simple questions. Think about this. Do I belong? And how safe do I feel here? As I sat with those questions, another came to mind. Maybe you've asked it too. Who am I? Have you ever noticed how many different versions of yourself seem to exist? There's the work version, the family version, the one our closest friends know, and at times the confident version. Other times maybe the one that's feeling insecure. Now, just to be clear, I don't think we do this to deceive anyone or to be dishonest. I don't think any of us wake up in the morning and say, who am I going to pretend to be today? I think there's something much deeper happening. From the time we're little children, we begin learning how to adapt. We discover what feels safe, what earns approval, what keeps us from standing out too much, and what helps us belong. Without even realizing it, we become remarkably skilled at reading the room. We sense what's expected. We notice what gets rewarded. And we quietly and subconsciously adjust ourselves. And really, that's part of being human. It's not wrong. It's how children learn to survive. It's how we learn to be in relationships. And it's how there is knowing that there's nothing wrong with us. It's about finding emotional safety. In fact, it probably saved many of us at some point or time in our lives. However, I wonder if there's a difference between adapting and belonging or abandoning ourselves. Adapting and abandoning ourselves. That's what I was thinking. Is there a difference between adapting and abandoning ourselves? Because I think that by adapting so much, we forget who we really are. We all adapt. The deeper question is, have we adapted so well that somewhere along the way we forgot who we are? Have we become so good at fitting in that we've forgotten how to simply belong? How many of you have ever thought at some time in your life, I wish I was like that. I wish I was more like her or him. I think there comes a moment in every spiritual journey when we begin remembering something we've always known. Remembering that beneath the roles, beneath the titles, and beneath the expectations, beneath all the stories we've collected about ourselves, there is simply I am. I am. It's not a job, it's not the successes, not the disappointments, not even opinions about ourselves over the years. Just the sacred awareness, I am. A unique expression of the one presence, whole, worthy, and enough. Exactly as life intended. And from that place, we no longer need everyone to like us. We no longer, without even realizing, shapeshift every time we enter a different space. Something else you should know. Not everyone is going to understand you. Not everyone is going to agree with you. And not everyone is going to like you. And that's okay. Perhaps that's exactly as it should be. Why should we expect everyone to be the same in the universe where life seems to delight in diversity? A garden isn't beautiful because every flower is identical. An orchestra isn't beautiful because every instrument plays the same note. And a sunset doesn't apologize because yesterday's sunset looked different. Everything in nature seems to celebrate uniqueness. It's only human beings who spend so much in life trying to be something or someone else. As children, many of us were told, don't stand out. And then we became adults and everyone started saying, be authentic, speak your truth. Do we even know what that is? It's enough to make a comedian need counseling. We spend years trying to become more like anyone else or everyone else, questioning our differences and making up stories about them, and then spend the rest of our lives trying to remember who we really are. Have we misunderstood belonging? Most of us have grown up believing that belonging is something we earn. If you're kind enough, if you're successful enough, if you're productive enough, or spiritual enough, and some many other enoughs, confident enough, funny enough, good enough. We imagine belonging as waiting just over the next hill, just beyond the next achievement. I'll feel like I belong when, right? But what if we've had it backwards all along? What if belonging isn't something we earn? What if belonging is somewhere we begin? One of the things I love most about unity is the understanding that there's one presence, one life, expressing itself in countless ways. Think about a leaf. At first glance, it's just a leaf. Or is it? Scientists tell us there are billions upon billions of leaves in the world, yet not one is exactly the same as the other. Think about that for a moment. Life never seems to say, I've already made one of those. Perhaps we ought to make another one, exactly the same. Instead, there is endless creativity, endless intelligence, and endless originality. So why would we imagine that the same creative intelligence suddenly becomes repetitive when it comes to us, when it comes to people? Why would that one life delight in creating unique leaves, unique snowflakes, unique fingerprints, unique sunsets, and suddenly decide that human beings should all think alike, look alike, or live alike? Perhaps our differences aren't problems to overcome. Perhaps they're the very way life celebrates itself. And maybe, just maybe, we've spent far too much of our lives trying to become someone else's leaf, when all along, where we come from, our source has been delighting in ours, our uniqueness. This little leaf reminds me of something else. Imagine a magnificent stained glass window. Every piece is different. Different colors, different shapes, different textures. Some pieces are smooth, some pieces are rough. And some catch the light immediately, others seem almost hidden until the light shines through them. The beauty of it doesn't exist despite the differences. The beauty exists because of them, their uniqueness. And perhaps the same is true for us. Perhaps our uniqueness isn't something to hide. Perhaps it's something to celebrate. I know a little about trying to fit in. Almost 26 years ago, my family immigrated from South Africa to Canada. Like most newcomers, I wanted what everybody else wants. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to feel like I belonged. I wanted people to understand me, and I wanted to understand them. What surprised me, though, is that although we speak the same language, sometimes it felt as though we were speaking different ones. Not because of the words, but because of the culture. The assumptions, the little unwritten rules that everyone else seemed to know and that I didn't. September being the beginning of the year and June the end of the year, I had to wrap my head around that. I had to wrap my head around getting a teacher's present to give in June and not in December. I didn't even think about those things when I first came. I remember saying to my husband through tears one day, we all speak English, but we don't understand each other. Looking back now, I smile because I spent energy trying not to be different, trying not to stand out. And yet now I realize those very differences are some of my greatest gifts. Living in two countries gave me different ways of seeing the world, different perspectives. Feeling like I didn't quite fit in also grew my compassion, and it helped me notice when somebody else felt the same way. It also reminded me that almost everyone we meet is carrying something we cannot see, a private grief, a fear, a disappointment, a burden they rarely talk about. Most often, we don't know the whole story. That changed the way I see people, and more importantly, it changed the way I see myself. I've come to believe that nothing about us needs to be rejected. Not our joy, not our grief, or our questions, or our sadness, or our happiness. It's all included. Not even our doubts or our mistakes. That's included too. Because spiritual growth isn't about becoming someone different. It's about becoming more fully ourselves. Remembering who we've always been beneath the expectations, beneath the comparisons, and beneath the masks. Remembering that we never came into being to be the same. We were created to be unique expressions of life itself. Instead of asking, what's wrong with me? Why am I so different? Begin asking a much gentler question. What is life trying to express through me? Isn't that what belonging really is? Finally recognizing that we've belonged all along? Because the one presence, the one life, chose to express itself as you, as me. That question doesn't shame us. It creates curiosity. It creates possibility. And it creates hope. We're no longer trying to fit in. We're becoming more willing to let life be fully expressed as us. When we begin to see ourselves that way, something beautiful begins to happen. We begin to see everyone else differently too. We find ourselves becoming more curious, enough to ask, I wonder what life has been like for them. I wonder what joys they've experienced, what sadness and pain they've had to go through. Where curiosity is welcomed, compassion almost always follows. Judgment closes doors. It closes the door. It shuts us down. Curiosity opens it to whole new possibilities. As I've reflected on my life, I've noticed that the people who had the greatest influence on me weren't necessarily the smartest people or the most successful, I was going to say most sexy, or accomplished. They were the people who made me feel seen. The people who listened without rushing to fix me, who welcomed my questions instead of answering them, too quickly. The people who somehow communicated. You don't have to pretend here. You don't have to earn your place. You can simply be yourself. What an extraordinary gift that is, isn't it? Perhaps it's one of the greatest gifts we can offer another human being, a safe place where another person can simply breathe and know they are enough as who they are and who they be. Somewhere along the way, many of us stopped celebrating our uniqueness and started apologizing for it. One of my favorite images is an orchestra. Imagine if every musician decided they wanted to play the violin. No flutes, no cellos, no trumpets, no percussion, just violins. The violinist might be delighted for about 3 minutes. The rest of us would probably be wishing someone had brought another instrument, because harmony isn't created by sameness. Harmony is created by difference, held together in relationship. Every instrument contributes something the others cannot. The cello never apologizes for sounding like a cello. The trumpet doesn't secretly wish it was a harp. And the flute doesn't wake up one morning thinking, I wish I played louder. Only human beings seem to spend so much of life wishing we were something or somebody else. Oscar Wilde once said, be yourself, everyone else is taken. There's deep wisdom in that statement. There has never been another you, and there never will be. Out of the billions of people who have lived on this planet, life has never repeated this expression. Not once. Just think about that. Your laugh, your compassion, your questions, your resilience, your life experiences, even the struggles that have shaped you, everything has contributed to the unique way life expresses itself as you. Which brings me back to where we began. Do you remember the question, do I belong? Something we ask ourselves at certain times in our lives. Perhaps that question has never really been waiting for an answer from the world, from out there. Perhaps it has always been an invitation to remember that before anyone welcomed us, before anyone accepted us, before anyone knew our name, life had already said, yes, you do. The one presence had already looked upon this unique expression of itself and said, this is exactly what the world needs right now. Not a copy, not a replacement, not someone else's life, yours, yours. Just as every leaf has its own shape, every snowflake its own design, every note in the orchestra its own sound, so too does every soul carrying something that no one else can bring. There has never been another you. There never will be. And if your life has taught you anything, if your joys have shaped you, if your heartbreaks have softened you, if your struggles have deepened your compassion, then nothing has been wasted. Everything has become part of the beautiful way life now shines through you and as you. So perhaps the invitation today is not to spend another day asking, do I belong? Do I fit in? Instead, ask yourself, how can I let life express itself more fully as me? The world has never been waiting for a better version of you. It has been waiting for the truest version of you. Because the world doesn't need another version of someone else. It needs the gift that only you can give. It needs your kindness, your laughter, your wisdom, your questions, your courage, your story. And if every one of us were to leave here today just a little less afraid to be ourselves, just a little more willing to celebrate our differences, just a little quicker to replace judgment with curiosity, and just a little more generous with compassion, then this community and our families and our neighborhoods, even our world, would become places where more people quietly discover, I belong here. Because you do. Not because you've earned it, not because you've achieved enough, not because you've finally become enough. You belong because life itself chose to become you. You belong. You always have, and you always will. And perhaps that's the let us move into Sunday morning meditation. I invite you, if you're comfortable, to gently close your eyes. Take a slow, easy breath and another. Allow yourself to simply arrive in this moment. There is nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to prove, nothing you need to fix, and nothing you need to think about right now. Just this breath, just this moment. As your body begins to relax, allow yourself to imagine walking along a quiet path. There's no hurry, no destination you need to reach, just a gentle invitation to walk. With every step, allow yourself to set something down, perhaps the need to perform. Another step, the need to compare. Take another step and set down the need to be anyone other than who you already are. Feel yourself becoming lighter, more at ease, more present. As you continue walking, you notice a beautiful doorway ahead. There's something deeply familiar about it, as though you've been here before. You gently open the door and step inside. It is warm, peaceful, filled with light. And suddenly you realize this isn't someone else's home. This is your own home. The home of your soul. The place within you that has always known who you are. The place that has never judged you, never compared you, never questioned your worth. Simply loved you. Rest there for a few moments, and as you rest, feel these words gently settle into your heart. I'm in a place that simply loves me, doesn't judge me, doesn't compare me, doesn't question my worth or value. A place within that has always known who I am. Now say these words quietly to yourself. I belong. I have always belonged. I do not need to earn my worth. I do not need to be anyone other than myself. Infinite intelligence delights in expressing itself as me. Sit with that for a few minutes. Let us feel the joy and the love and the acceptance of belonging, the acceptance of ourselves to ourselves. Feel that joy and gently wiggle your hands and feet. Bring your presence back into the space that you're in and open your eyes when you feel ready to do so. Thank you.